Welcome back to the Gracefully Wild Soul podcast. Today we are going to look at and receive some messages around this beautiful full moon in Sagittarius. And we are going to drop into the energy for the month of June. So let's do it. Welcome to the Gracefully Wild Soul podcast. I'm Kirsten, a mother and soul guide, and this is a space where your soul is witnessed and the frequency of your heart is felt. Together, we will have intimate conversations about the essence of life, the beauty of your soul's path, and our evolution as women and as mothers. Through channeled words, lived experiences, and the wisdom of nature's rhythms, the soul, and the sacred feminine, this is where the gracefully wild woman begins to rise. All right, the full moon in Sagittarius is landing in our beautiful orbit on May 31st around 1:45 a.m. Pacific time. And this is a blue full moon, meaning it is the second full moon in the month of May. If you recall, we had a first full moon on May 1st. So we literally had May 1st and May 31st as our bookends for the month, a full moon and a full moon. And so this full moon is a little bit rare in the sense that having two in 1 month doesn't happen that often. And it also rotates signs. So we are working with the sign of Sagittarius on this full moon. And it is such a beautiful illumination. And when I went to the Akashic Records, the messages were so just yummy and clear and supportive. So I'm going to drop in and share those messages with you right now. So when I went to the Akashic Records, first of all, my guide, my primary guide was Eve. Yes, the Eve. The one that you have heard about, through all of time as being the naughty one that didn't listen. So, well, technically that's Lilith, but also Eve didn't want to, but then she became the submissive one. So she was then pegged as the one that didn't listen, even though most of the stories that you hear about Eve are actually related to both Lilith and Eve. They are often integrated as to one individual. But Eve is this individual, this woman, this person, this archetype that we are looking at in the Garden of Eden as the one that essentially took the forbidden fruit and didn't listen and essentially allowed all of humanity to go into doom. And so that is kind of the, myth or the story that so many people are familiar with. But my guide, Eve, in her true form, is just this beautiful, pure version of you. She is innocent. She is sweet. She is loving. She is kind. She is playful. And her energy was so just, present in this entire journey at the Akashic Records. And that energy that she carries really is part of this full moon energy. So what I saw around this full moon is a deep purification. There is this eradication that's happening right now. And this full moon really illuminates what it is that needs to be eradicated or disposed of. Because ultimately we are shifting. We are making these shifts and these moves in our individual lives and in our collective world. And so there is a bit of this purging that's happening, and it feels really uncomfortable. It feels awkward and icky and uncertain, but there is kind of a end goal that's happening. So what is, kind of unfolding in real time is a bit of this reversal. It is a bit of this removing of the things that no longer can sit in a higher vibrational state. We are going back to a higher vibrational state. And so all of the things that have been kind of mucking, things up are beginning to get disposed of. They're beginning to get rid of, essentially. So this full moon in Sagittarius is the heroine of the story, okay? You've heard of the hero's story, right? Where this usually a man, journeys on and is the big hero in the story. But the heroine here, the full moon in Sagittarius, she is leading the way. She's leading the journey. And so the messages around this full moon are really about being gentle yet fierce. You are a warrior, but being a warrior doesn't always mean that we're fighting, that we're, in this angst all the time, because that's not the higher vibration of the journey, of the mission, of the story. So, this full moon really is a deepening of ancient wisdom. It is highlighting essentially kind of our weak point, like that Achilles heel, that we have, that we continue to, I don't know, like circle the drain around. Like we keep coming back to this spot and we just go around and around and around. And this full moon is really highlighting that. It is wanting you to see that it's time to move out of that. It's time to stop fighting over whatever it is that you've been fighting over, because that's what's holding you back. And so the destination is already found. Like you are on this quest. You are trying to arrive at the destination. But what you are failing to see is that it has already been found. And you just have to allow yourself to arrive. That's really what this is about. This full moon is asking you to arrive exactly where you already are. And it's not about saying, oh, I'm just going to stay in the same place. I'm not going to move forward. No, it's about understanding what the true destination is. It's about seeing the actual underlying purity of the destination and to stop reaching. It's about being, it's about really being in it. So let yourself arrive. And around this kind of idea, there will be something that's painful that will be revealed or illuminated or reminded or, essentially just brought up in this moment. And that's part of the journey and part of essentially what's going to allow you to arrive at the destination. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? Okay, like sit in the wonderment. Sit in the wonderment of how far you have journeyed to so many places and you have done so much. But are you sitting in the wonderment of what you have done and where really that ultimate, ending point, that destination is? It's always hard to read my handwriting because I'm like scribbling when I'm writing these messages. Okay, can we know the distance? Can you know and recognize the distance that you have already traveled? Like, this is part of the journey. This is part of the destination, is understanding how far you've already journeyed. When you get to the end point as the hero or the heroine, are you like in awe of what you have done, where you have been, what you have accomplished? Like when you think about a beautiful book that you just read, are you only thinking about the ending or are you thinking about the entirety of the story? The beginning, the middle, and the end, all of it. So, really like coming back to that. This full moon is really asking for that pause. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, we go, 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 we move, move, move. We're just constantly in this swirling. But this full moon is really, really asking us for us to like slow down, to pause, to like take in the beauty of this moment and quite literally this full moon. So, like, be in the moment, just put it down. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, put it down, like, drop it. It's kind of like that, like Top Chef or like those cooking shows where it's like hands up, okay? Like, the timer is up and you have to put your utensils down, you have to stop cooking, and you just have to be with whatever it is. So, okay. Throwback to, those Top Chef days when I used to like completely binge on all of the cooking shows. The small moments are defining. Do nothing, be nothing, become everything. When I got this message, I actually instantly went to Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you've read any of his books, but he hammers this home a lot where like moving to the next level is when we stop trying to define everything. And Sagittarius, the sign of Sagittarius is the vision quest seeker. It is literally the person that's going on the 4-day fast out in the desert and seeking purpose and meaning and higher truth. Sagittarius is always seeking higher truth. But I think that we can take that too far. We can, constantly feeling like we have to be defined as, oh, I'm this, or I have this to offer, or this is my title, or this is my role. And that's how I fit into the matrix of life. And really, it's when we stop doing that that we actually ascend, we move into that next level that we really are seeking to be. It's like we spend so much time trying to define who we are and what we offer and what we do in this world that we forget that it's the actual being of that we are seeking and that we are trying to step into. And so that's what this full moon is asking us to do. It's to put it down. It's to stop trying to be the X and just be. Okay. That is this beautiful full moon in Sagittarius, our blue full moon for the month of May. And that really leads us right into the month of June. So when I continued in the Akashic Records for the month of June, it was like a bit of this, kind of marker between the full moon and the month of June, but in the most beautiful way. So if you remember around spring equinox, we jump into Aries season. That's the beginning of the astrological new year. And so much is on fire. And we're just in that initiation point, like that cardinal energy. And I had a bit of this like cardinal energy as well. And we are having a cardinal sign in the month of June. So Cancer season begins, and that is our cardinal water sign. But the beginning of June, it just felt like this fresh start, like this beginning point. And so using the full moon energy to really anchor in and set the stage for the month of June is where my guides were saying we need to go. That's like where we're headed. And so just maybe finding this moment of rebalancing, like recalibration. I just saw a lot of this like replenishment happening and a lot of water. So again, Cancer is a water sign. And so really embracing this water energy that we are moving towards. So we'll ultimately move out of Gemini season and into Cancer season. So air to water. And I just saw that playfulness with water and that cleansing and that purification is happening on all levels. But that needs to happen again at our most like mundane day-to-day human level and our higher self, like our highest version of ourselves. And so this replenishment with water was like play with water, drink water, swim in the water, like be with the water. There is just a lot of change happening. And it was a bit of this like reset. And so I actually came back to Eve and even Mary Magdalene around, this purification, this cleansing. And so there was like these images almost of cleansing the feet, like washing away the old and preparing to walk forward to the new. And you actually see that in a christening of a baby, right? Like they put water over the crown of a baby's head to welcome them into this new beginning. And so there was a bit of this like initiation that's happening and this cleansing and clearing of the old in order to walk forward towards the new. Okay, so Yes. So the month of June, be playful, be fun, like find something that's like your joy activity, like whatever it is, like I don't know, revisit something that brought you joy in the past. And okay, so another message that I received was there's like an important idea that you have been kind of like ruminating on or thinking about, but it's time to like write it down. Like, you don't have to get super serious about it, but write it down. Like, make some sort of intention around it and just memorialize it. So it's in writing because ultimately it's going to come back in the future and you're going to be working with it. So spend a little time like journaling or sitting out in the sun, or maybe you have a lake or the ocean or a slip and slide, whatever it is. I know it's still cold in some places, but finding your water element somewhere, like being with that, drinking just a beautiful glass of water out in the sunshine or in a space that makes you feel nourished, and journaling is what it's all about. Some more messages here. Get out of the mess. Okay, there is a mess that has been happening, that has been unfolding, and this is the doorway out. Like, you are getting out of the mess. It's time to walk away. So just don't put yourself back in it. Whatever the mess is, it is your time to walk away. This is the invitation, the moment to leave it behind. So don't go back there, okay? Like, shut the door. Okay, some other like little like funky messages, and my guides promise me, they're like, this will land somewhere. It's gonna come forward. It's gonna happen. It might not seem like it fits right now in this spot, but trust me, it will land somewhere. They said play a game of tic-tac-toe. Okay, like whether that's literal or metaphorical or energetic, it will reveal itself to you at some point. But the point is be simple. Be simple. Like, come back to simplicity, come back to things that bring you joy, and be with it. Okay, there's a little bit of heaviness at the end of the month of June. So just, prepare yourself. Again, this is none of these messages are meant to, like get you into a place of angst or strife or anxiety. It's about knowing that things are shifting all the time, no matter what era we're living in, what timeline we're living in, things are always shifting. And there is going to be things that feel sticky and things that feel heavy, and that's okay. We just have to know that we're going to work through whatever it is. And the month of June has a little bit of that heaviness at the end. Okay, hedging. I don't know, this word hedging kept coming forward. It was like, yes, I even got like hedgehog, and then I got like an actual image of like a hedge of, like a bush hedge. And then I even had this word of hedging, like hedging your bets come forward. So hedging is going to be something that's happening in June. And the message I actually received when I was like, I need a little clarity around this like hedging situation was that you will be hedged. Okay. Now, again, don't freak out. Don't like get super nervous and weirded out. But I think essentially what my guides were showing me and saying is that there is going to be kind of like this cutting of losses. And in the moment, it might look or feel like you, quote unquote, might be the one that's being hedged or the loss. But ultimately, this is for your benefit, for you. It is the best deal that you could ask for. And so wipe your hands, be clean, be done, and walk away. Again, walk away from the mess, like I said. So this idea of hedging is going to be happening, right? So like things are being cleared and cut and trimmed. And ultimately, this is good for you. So accept it, be with it, and move on. Two other messages that came through. Let's see. Oh, okay. Couple messages. So part of, all of this is that there is a separation of delusion happening. Delusion from reality is being separated. So again, coming back to almost like the purity of the energy, the molecules, and just everything that lives in our DNA and out in the world energetically in the frequency. There is this separation of delusion and reality that's happening. And so, the veil is being lifted, the mist is coming off of the ground. And that was also, one of the places I was taken during these messages was Avalon, Glastonbury, like the the land of the mists. And ultimately the mist will lift and clarity will arrive. And sometimes that lifting of delusion or kind of that smoke and mirror can feel harsh. And so just remembering that ultimately removing these filters allows us to really clear the way for what we are moving towards, like really the heroine story, right? Coming back to that beautiful full moon in Sagittarius. So, two other things. This is what they said. Okay, this is what my guide said. They said freedom tables. I don't really know entirely, but essentially what I was shown was that you're going to be invited to this table and it's going to feel and look like and be the freedom that you are seeking. And so just being open to whatever that is, whatever it looks like. And, this is very much tied to Sagittarius. Sagittarius is is about freedom. Like, think about this horse just running on the beach with freedom, just pure freedom, wildness, and just the charge forward, being totally in your element, in your own self. Like, a message that came to me just now is like the tree doesn't question that it's a tree. The tree knows it's the tree. It's not seeking to be something else. It knows it is a tree. And so like accepting that freedom, like your truth is really the destination. And the last message that I have, again, like we're keeping it real here, folks. Like your guides want you to like have these resonances that land in your day to day. And they were showing me and telling me that ultimately this is going to come through somewhere in the month of June. And they're just saying, you got this. You've got this. So just be open, be true to yourself, love yourself through all of this, and you've got this. All right, those are the messages for this beautiful full moon in Sagittarius landing on May 31st in the wee hours. And for the month of June, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye. Thank you, love, for being here. May you walk forward guided by the wild wisdom of your soul and the truth of your heart. To find me beyond the podcast, you can join my newsletter at soulbabe.com for continual updates on offerings and other teachings, or subscribe to the Gracefully Wild Soul Substack. Until next time.